Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm today. I'm with my brother-in-law, John, and he's my helper. We're putting in paddocks for the weekend for our bulls and the steers. And we're in such a beautiful area here, John. I just wanted to stop and show the height of this big bluestem.
Looks like the prairie, Greg. Prairie grass.
How tall are you, John?
Almost 6 feet.
You're almost 6 foot.
Yeah.
And that plant in front of you there is a good foot and a half over your head.
Yep. And it's thick in here, Greg.
I mean, look at it. It's just, I'm gonna zoom in on it, but you can see it looks like somebody just sowed it with a seeder. So what do you think this place looked like back in pre-settler day before white man arrived?
It was probably a lot of prairie in here. It almost had to been for this seed stock to be here.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been all forest, I don't think.
So you're thinking this seed laid in the seed bank all those years, and when it got the right grazing, it expressed itself.
It popped back out. Probably back in the buffalo were here, probably.
Yeah. Well, you know, the old timers talked about, you heard some of the history books, that when they came across the prairie, there was grass that was as tall as they were sitting in the stirrup. So sitting on the saddle, there was grass that hit them, you know, up to the top of their saddles. Yeah. Well, if you were riding a horse,
you'd be up there.
Yeah.
You had to be wearing chaps. Not this stuff, though. It wouldn't cut you.
Well, what's remarkable, you just made the comment, John, as we're driving up here, this farm has so much diversity on it. And to echo what you said, you got the big blue, and right here underneath my feet, we have Korean lespedeza, which is a warm season. Of course, we have the red clover, and I just saw this one. Okay, this is Indian grass. That's a clump of Indian grass right there.
Awesome.
And there's some more. And so you got Indian grass, and then right over here you've got a little, what I call the miniature. It's the summer annuals, foxtail. They love that one. Cattle gonna nail that. We saw some giant foxtail yesterday. Yep. What did the cows do to that?
It was gone. We came in there this morning and it was gone. I mean, they had eaten it and trampled it down, and everything looked really good. The cows looked good. You know, they go right to this, so it's got to be a really good feed source for them. A favorite for sure. Well,
John, you mentioned this morning when I picked you up, you know, you travel the country, you and my sister Monica, and you see a lot of country, a lot of different cattle operations as you travel across the U.S. And you made a comment this morning about the way that we are managing our livestock and grazing here. You care to talk about that just a little bit?
Well, like I said, we see cattle operations all over the country. We see a few mob grazing things and a few electric fences, but for the most part, they graze it down to the dirt, and or they're feeding them grain, or you have this big livestock feed operation, and you can smell it for 5 miles.
Yeah.
And so what do you want? Do you want this as your environment? If you were a cow, would you want this? Or do you want a muddy feedlot? Yeah. Or do you want places grazed down to the dirt?
Right. Which one catches more water?
This holds it. Also, it goes back up too.
Yes.
Cycles.
Yes. They call that transpiration.
Yep.
I read there's a great book out there. I can't get the name of it now. I've got it. I have to do a video on it. A guy did that. He studied what's happened to the water in the United States. We've built all these terraces and put all this these tiles in the crop field to catch the water and divert it off the field. And so all this rainwater is going in these tiles, going into the creek, ending up in the Mississippi River, ending up in the ocean. Yep. The water's not staying out on the land anymore. Huh. Think about that. Yeah. Billions and billions of gallons, instead of transpiration going back up into the air, it's diverted into a creek intentionally. Yeah. Well, it can't transpirate if it's down in the ocean. No. It's not on the land anymore.
It's not there. It's someplace else.
So you may have heard this figure, John, but for every 1% increase in organic matter that you can build with livestock on your landscape, every 1% holds 25,000 gallons of water per acre per year. So if you do the math on that, Judy Farms, we started at less than 0.5%. We're up to over 5% on some of our fields now. So at 5, that's times 25,000. We're holding 125,000 gallons of water per acre per year.
That's amazing.
And people say, but Greg, you get more rain than we do. I hear that all the time. They even
last 4 or 5 years. This summer maybe a little.
Well,
bit,
people, we went through 2 years of drought, and they say, well, Greg, you're not in a drought. Yeah, we are. We haven't had any rain, but we held it. Yeah, we held on to it. Yeah. So I don't know. I could look at this grass all day long out here. It's just beautiful. We didn't have to seed it. We didn't plant it. Look at it, folks.
You mean you didn't have to disc this in, Greg?
We didn't disc it. No. Somebody asked, that's a great question, by the way, or a comment. We had a guy yesterday on email or YouTube comment. Guys, I love your comments, so don't stop and just keep them coming. But he said, his question was, do I need to disc to get seed into the ground? I'm like, no, don't do that. There was a study done where a lady actually took one pass and disc across the field. And all she did was cut it 3 inches deep. And she measured soil life before and after disking. And it killed 90%. She killed 90% of soil life.
It's kind of like burning it. Just burn it off.
Yeah.
And then let's disc it. And
yeah.
Maybe spray it with some kind of herbicide.
Yeah. Get rid of them weeds. And then you're left with a barren landscape that won't grow anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
No, this is beautiful, Greg. It's a beautiful morning. It's a beautiful farm. The cows are responding extremely well. It's fun being out here. It sure beats being in some cubicle in some high-rise somewhere.
I mean, look at that. Just as far as the eye can see. Big bluestem. Folks, what is special about big bluestem? Big bluestem, all the native worm seasons, whether it's switchgrass, Indian grass, big blue, or eastern gamma, they all have a taproot that goes down 6, 8, 10 feet. So when it gets hot, they like warm weather. Well, guess what, folks? The fescue is down here. It's dormant right now. It's not even growing. You can tell it's not growing by the tips. See, it's already turned brown. And so when it gets hot, the cool season grasses stop growing. Well, what are your cows going to eat? Well, if you got some of this out there, this will pull you through the summer slump. So the big bluestems are a lot more water effective. They're a lot better at utilizing water than the cool season grasses are. Now, I wouldn't want to go without my cool season grasses because what John is standing on right there, that's fescue. Folks, that'll save our bacon this winter. It's going to start growing in September. It's going to turn very lush and green, and that'll keep us from having to feed so much hay in the wintertime. It stays green all winter long. This turns into wood in the wintertime. So you can't winter cows on big bluestem and expect them to keep their weight on. They're just not going to do it. So you need to have both. That's, I guess, what I'm saying. John, thanks for your time this morning.
You're welcome, buddy. It's always fun going out with you, Greg.
Yeah, we were just commenting. This is a wonderful office to go to work in every morning. You asked me the other day, said, Greg, you ever miss your town job? I'm like, no, not really. So everyone, y'all have a good one, and we're going to get to work here and have a great day.